Hello, Oliano Dasi for another video. Do you remember that meme about it works on my computer? Yeah, it really works on my machine, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make that application available to the public without any server deployment and also by not using Docker. I won't explain what localhost is. Should I? Oh, let me try. A localhost is a local environment. It is the machine or the computer that you are working on at a given time. In computer networking, every computer is a local host to other environment. And just to put the context, coming back to the meme about it works on my machine, but when we deploy the application to the client infrastructure or to the company infrastructure, it has some issues in it. It is common in software development to have some differences between the environment that we are working on. So that is why people say Docker has been created to fix that thing. But sometimes you simply have to do a very quick demo. You don't have to make it work on a special environment online. You simply want to make it work to maybe a very private audience or maybe a public audience, but for a short time without any server deployment. And if it is the case, for sure you can ship or you can make that working version available on your local host so that people could be able to see it from the internet. So let's see how to do so by using Ngrok. What is Ngrok? I prefer to point it out. It has nothing to do with Angular, which is the front-end framework that we often use to build enterprise scale web applications. So Ngrok over here is just a tool that people use to create a tunnel to your application or to your network infrastructure on your computer so that people could be able to access a specific part of your local host by using a generated subdomain on the cloud-based Ngrok infrastructure to be able to access the application that you have deployed on your computer. That is what we are going to do during the following minute. Just for the history, Ngrok has been created something like 12 years ago, and I do remember one of my ex-manager recommended me this tool to prepare a demo that we had at the former company I worked for. And at that time we were using the open source version of Ngrok because nowadays there are two major versions. The open source version was labeled 1.x and the cloud-based, the SaaS model version, which is actually more popular and quite updated frequently, is the 2.x version. So you have to do that difference because maybe your policy doesn't allow you to create some tunnel from your computer to the rest of the world. If it is the case, the open source version could be the way to follow, but the cloud-based version is actually an interesting one. So you can try to investigate to see if it complies with your infrastructure. Now, let's go through the steps that I use to quickly use Ngrok with a very basic Node.js application. Okay, for Ngrok to work, you simply have to follow 3 steps. The first one is actually to download the Ngrok tool and connect your computer to it so that it's going to create a tunnel to your localhost environment to be able to save your application. I recommend to quickly go to the download link of Ngrok. You can see that online somewhere, something like download Ngrok, and you will see those steps. It supports many environments: Windows, Mac OS, Linux, Docker, and so on. And for my case, I use the Mac OS installation instruction. So I simply have to type this command on my computer to have the Ngrok tool properly installed. And after the installation, they are going to provide you an authentication key that you should use in your terminal by using this command. For example, ngrok config add auth token, and you put it at the end. You type it on your terminal so that it's going to put a credential in a very special configuration file on your computer to be able to recognize the account which is using Ngrok. Of course, you will have to create an account on the Ngrok website. As I said before, the version 2.x, which is actually actively maintained today, is the 2.x, and it is a SaaS application, so you can't use it if you don't create an account. So after this step, you can simply type Ngrok HTTP and you put the part of your application to have it working. I have a very basic Node.js application on my computer, nothing very fancy. So if I save this application, for example, I have it working on the pod 340. Let me try to open it on my computer just to make sure it works as expected. Yeah, but I have a ping endpoint to actually test it properly. If I do this, ping, boom, great. So my Node.js application work on my computer. So I follow the step already to install Ngrok and to add the authentication key. So I can simply go ahead and try to make it work by using this command ngrok http, and I put my pod ngrok http and I put my pod. Boom, it generates a domain or a subdomain that you can use to access your app on the internet. You can see that this domain actually redirect to your local host and the pod that you use for your application. And if I do so, great, application work, and I can still access the ping endpoint from here. I believe so. Normally it should work. This website safe. You should visit this website if you trust you. Visit the website. Good. So you can see that the API or the Node.js backend still work by using Ngrok. And now the second step that you have to follow when you configure Ngrok is actually the secure endpoint. After you have created a tunnel to your localhost environment by using Ngrok, you have to focus on the security. As I said before, maybe your company or your environment has some restriction in regard to the security part, and you have some nice integration that you can follow in order to make it secure, or maybe to make it enterprise level to work with other colleagues and so on by using the same Ngrok account, something like that. They have SAML, OAuth, webhook verification, and so on. I'm not going to go that path because it is out of the scope of this video. Something else that I like the most with Ngrok is the observability of the traffic. So after you have used Ngrok like this to tunnel your application, you can copy this link and you open it on another tab, for example, to see what is happening. So if I call my endpoint again, you will see the traffic being reflected in this page. So you can see a nice summary of the application that has been used by the tunnel that we created by using Ngrok. You can inspect the binary being sent, the raw data, the headers, the summary, and maybe some errors, if the status code I meant, to see if we had some errors being generated at hand. Another important point that is worth mentioning is the way that your data are being saved on Ngrok. So if you log yourself in your account and you take a look at the endpoint tab, you will see the active tunnel that you have used with your account right now. It is worth to take a look at the domains tab as well. For me, for example, I had a button somewhere over here to activate a global domain, or I don't know how they call it again, a preferred domain, to always work with a single domain. So if you don't do so, normally when you don't have any domain over here, you should have a button somewhere that says click here to activate a main domain for your application. So next time you save your localhost by using the tunnel, it is always going to use the same subdomain. If you don't do so, this subdomain is going to be generated randomly, and it is always going to be different each time you run the command ngrok. But since I have done that configuration, I'm always going to use the same domain no matter the application or the tunnels from my account. So maybe the pod can be different, but the domain is going to be the same. I believe we can't talk about Ngrok without talking about the alternative to Ngrok. And if you open this page, you will see there are so many alternatives. Actually, there are dozens of these. Most of them are open source. You can go ahead, you click on each, you take a look at the source code, what it solves, and if it is better for you instead of Ngrok. So if the intent is actually to open your localhost environment, I don't think it is a feature that only one tool have. Maybe other one should have very specific features that you will like. So take a look at the alternative and let me know in the comment what you think about it. So that is what I wanted to show to you. I hope you like it. Thank you. The most important action that you can do right away to support us are to like, comment, and share this video, register to our newsletter, and join our Discord server to be aware of new videos or generally tech content like this one. So see you in the next video. Bye for now.